If you're anything like me, the issue of the coronavirus has simply been a news story that is happening elsewhere. But over the last 7 days, things do appear to have changed, and we're all facing some additional challenges with potentially stopping the spread of the virus. And one of the pieces of advice that we're being given is not to meet as frequently, reduce travel to certain areas, and potentially work from home more frequently, or even self-isolate. And the projections that a fifth of our workforce may need a prolonged period away from work is a real threat to business. And yet we already have the technology to help us to overcome the potential of not being in the same office at the same time. And in fact, the technology we have can make us more productive if we have to work from a remote location. So I want to show you three things today, really quickly, really high level. We're over a couple of demos that hopefully will keep your business being productive, even if the office is out of bounds and you find yourself remote working. Firstly, the thing I want to show you is how easy we can use Microsoft Teams to do a video call and an audio call. Secondly, how we can use that chat-based communication to better request and share information in Microsoft Teams. And finally, how we can collaborate on files together even when we are miles apart to get the result we need when working on a project. And all you need for that is your laptop, some internet connectivity. You can use it on a mobile device as well, Apple, iPhone, or a Google device, Android device, should I say. I'd always recommend a decent headset with a mic, which helps with the audio quality. And at the central core of all of this is Microsoft Teams, that hub of information that most of you, if you're using Office 365, will have in the toolbox already. And if you don't, Microsoft have now offered it as a free 6-month trial due to the outbreak of the coronavirus. So let's dive in, let's get into the application and have a look at the products and see what we can do with the tools that we have in front of us. Okay, so we've now got diving into the application. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to be using something called Microsoft Teams. So I'm just going to share my desktop, and hopefully everyone will be able to see what we're looking at. So if you've never used Teams before, it comes as part and parcel of the Office 365 suite. And if you've never seen it or not seen it on your desktop, if you go to your Office Hub, office.com, and log on with your Office credentials, you'll see we have a little icon here called Teams. If we launch that, it'll launch in our browser. Alternatively, it'll ask you to download an app, which we've got up and running here, which looks identical to the browser version. So that's what I'm actually using to record the video today. And down the side, if I just drop my video from here, what you can see is we've actually got a bunch of teams. Teams are different areas you'd probably group the way you work. So you might be involved in lots of different teams here. You can see that I'm in the sales team, a marketing team, a management team, and so on and so forth. I've also got some hidden teams, which doesn't really matter about today, but they're ones I don't use as frequently, so the system hides them and moves them out of the way. But what we also have is within a team, we can have different channels. So rather than having one big team with lots of information, we break it then down. So in our marketing team, I can say I've got some general information, the general communications we push out to our customers, how we use LinkedIn, some ideas for marketing, partner activity, and so on and so forth. And we can have different people in these different channels, as they're called, within the marketing team. And as we said, you can drop in and drop out. So if you're part of a project and you need to be involved in this area, you'll come into the team. And should you no longer need to be in, you can exit that team as well. And the idea of the team is this idea of chat-based area. So I've spun up a separate team for us today just to use as part and parcel of the demo around an event that we were working on. And it was an exhibition that we were going to. So I'll just hide everything else so it's not in the way. Get rid of my hidden teams. And what we have here, as you can see, a whole thread, and I use the example of WhatsApp. If you use WhatsApp, this is very, very similar to how we work on Teams. So rather than sending emails back and forth and your inbox getting cluttered up and you go to lunch and you come back with 20 emails of everyone saying, yep, I've seen what you've sent, and acknowledging things, what we have with Teams is this idea of chat-based. So if I go right to the top here, we were going to run and get involved in an exhibition, and this was proposed by one of the members, and so we fired up a team, and we've got about 5 or 6 people in here. And Jason, who came up with this, put the presentation that the exhibition organisers had sent us. We can see here there's a couple of PDFs, so we could click on those, and without leaving Teams, we could view the contents of those PDFs. So here we go. We can see quite clearly what's on there and the information that they were sending through to us on that PDF brochure. And you can see down the side, the right hand side, we've still got the comment that Jason put. There was a couple of presentations to share from the masterclass. So we can read all those. I can reply as well and say, yeah, this looks great, down that bottom corner. So I'm not actually sending an email, but I'm just sending a reply to Jason's message. I could then hit send and away it would go. So that's quite neat. So I can close that back down, and so the story develops. And so we decided we're going to do this this event, and the next thing we need to work out is if we want to have a stand. And so we then go through some ideas of the artwork that we might have. As you can see here, Mo is one of our graphic designers, has put some information. He's updated the stand. I can, rather than saying yes, that's great, Mo, I can actually just like it or put a little emoji so I can react to that. And he just gets an alert to say, yeah, Liam has acknowledged or liked it. Or if not, I might not like it. I can put an angry face on there. And we can, without cluttering everyone's inbox up or putting lots and lots of replies, people can acknowledge that they've seen what's been put on there. We also talked about the type of furniture we were going to need on the stand. So Tash, who works in the marketing team as well, had put some ideas that we needed a poser table, 3 stools, and etc., etc. And was everyone okay with this? And you can see there were 3 replies to Tash's request, and I was happy with it. Mo said the carpet should be okay with the artwork we were doing, and then Tash confirmed she's going to get started on the process. And so all of these things are all taking place in this chat base. I can drop in whenever I need to. I can catch up if I've been out of the office for a day, what other conversations have been taking place around this subject matter. And as I said, you can have lots and lots of channels within your teams covering lots of different subjects that you can drop in, get up to speed quickly without having to pester somebody and say, what's happened today? You can see it all very quickly. We can have files in here, so we could see registered attendees who are going to be there. Again, you'll notice I'm not going into Excel. I can if I want, but it's all here, and I can see very quickly. I can do a little bit of editing on the spreadsheet, but I'm still within Teams. And again, I can put my comment if I want to down on the side. So we're just going to close the Excel spreadsheet and we go back to where we were. And where I really find this useful, as you can see, there's artwork that needs approving. There are quotes when we were renting a TV for the stand and other bits and pieces. And so where normally we might go through a process, I can approve these from within Teams. I can say, yeah, I'm happy with that. I could put some feedback. As you can see, there's quite a bit of feedback about the size of the TV, where it would go, etc., etc. We then have the floor plan that comes down and we start putting the lecture in. But what I'm trying to show on this, because we're not going through everything, is very quickly we can have this whole thread going back and forth all the way down until we get to the final sign off and the final prep, design, extra design work, loads of information. It's all collated in one place. So Teams is a hub for all this information. Now, when we're working remotely, it doesn't matter if I'm stuck at home, in the office, in an airport, in a McDonald's on the Wi-Fi there, grabbing some food. It's all in one place, and I can access it from a browser. I can even access it on my mobile device, so on my phone, whether it's an iOS Apple device or an Android device, or if it's on a tablet, again, it will work there, and it's browser-based. I can get to it quickly, and I can get to it very, very easily. And so all of these things are a very neat way of having this conversation view, and it removes all that clutter from my inbox and allows my inbox to be focused around external communication, so things from customers and suppliers, and I can then see that and work out what I've got to deal with very quickly. For internal communication, we find this works far better, and I jump in and out of Teams, and I still get alerts, so I can see. You'll notice some of these areas there's an exclamation mark, so this is important, and I'll have an alert for that. Sometimes I get name checked, so someone will have referenced me. Here you go. So again, Tash is looking for some authorization, so she has actually put my name in there. And what happens is I get a little alert up here on the activity section at the top left-hand side of the screen, and it would tell me if I clicked on there that Natasha mentioned you, as you can see. And if I click on that, it takes me right to that conversation that she has referred to. So that's quite a neat way of doing it. And I can filter those things. I can say I might be searching for, in this case, some postcards that we were having done. And if I do that, I can see that Mo has mentioned me about getting some printed postcards done. So very quickly, we get a nice little search capability as well to really focus in on what we're doing, so we don't get lost in the general noise that can come from lots of things happening. So that's quite nice. So that's the idea of our activity feed. And as we said, if we go into our teams, there are all different types of teams, all different areas, and you can create these. You can have some privacy in the different channels. So some people might be in some channels, but not in others. So there might be a budget channel that you don't want those numbers to be shared with the rest of the team, and they would be privately hidden away. So that's a very brief look. There are loads of things we can do here, but just really get the idea how we can add people to the team. You can see here that we can jump around, but the idea of communicating that it's there, and as soon as I come online, I can catch up with what's happened during the day without having to read 50 emails. I can just follow a nice, simple, concise thread of how the conversation flowed while I've been away, and I can then put my contribution quite quickly just by typing in the bottom and going there. And of course, you've got all the areas I can format it, so I can put a more formatted and detailed response. I could attach a file, so I might want to upload something from my machine, or something I've been working, a PowerPoint presentation, a PDF, a Word document, Excel, any type of file can go up there. If needs be, I can use all the Giphy stuff. So if I want to put an emoji on there, then I can do. Or if I want to say, well done to somebody, and I want to put a Giphy on, I can just select one and drop that in. So we get all those modern types of communication that are very popular, and again, saves us sometimes makes the conversation a bit more interesting than just putting a thank you on there. So there's loads of little things you can do along those lines. And if you want to look at more stuff with Teams, I could spend a whole day just talking about what we can do on this chat type of facility. Okay, so what I want to show you now is the scenario of how we can work together on a document or a PowerPoint presentation that we're going to use in this example, even though we are not in the same office space at all. What I've done is I'm going to upload a PowerPoint presentation. I'm then going to ping a couple of members of my marketing team to make some amendments, get some feedback around that, and we're going to do it all while we're in Microsoft Teams. So I'm just going to share my desktop again so we can start to record. And let's jump back into Teams. And I am now going to go into our team, as you saw earlier, this chat-based area. And what I've done here is I've uploaded a PowerPoint presentation. And in the conversation, I've name-checked Zach and Mo. And so they will have had an alert within Teams saying, look, I've uploaded the presentation. We want to review it. I'll call you now. And I've had a couple of replies from them just saying, yep, no problem. And Mo's in the presentation as well. So what we're going to do is going to open the presentation up. You'll see I'm not leaving Teams to do this. I'm still within the hub. And I now, though, have this plugin for Outlook that I can see, and I can jump down the slides and go through as you would do normally. So that's all great. I also still have this conversation going on that we saw that I'd uploaded it, and Zach and Mo had acknowledged they were in. Now, what I want to do is I want to invite these guys to the meeting, get them in and start talking to them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the call screen, and I'm now going to invite some people to join me. And what's quite neat here, although it says the only person in this meeting currently is me as the organizer, it's given me some suggestions. So it knows within my team, these are the people. These are the people that have been involved in the conversations historically, the last two being Zach and Mo. So I'm going to ask Zach to join, and I'm going to ask Mo to join. And you can see down the bottom, it's calling them. Hopefully they will pop up on the screen in a moment. So, hi both, how you doing?
Hi Liam, you're right.
Hello.
Good to see you both. So as we said, we're all in different locations and we've joined the meeting remotely. What we're going to do is click back on our Teams area, and then we then should have PowerPoint that we should all be able to see. So I'm just going to go open up. Guys, if you could open the PowerPoint as well. And just for anybody watching the recording here, you can still see I've got some video going on down the bottom, and whoever becomes active on the voice side of things will become active on that video. So I'm just going to take you through the screen. You probably recognize PowerPoint, but what you'll see is different now is we have some extra people working. So down here on slide 5, I can see Zach is working on slide 5, so is Mo. So I'm going to go and jump into slide 5 as well and see what's happening. And suddenly you'll see the two columns here. One has a blue outline, one has like a pinkish outline. And that'll be my two colleagues, Mo working on the blue and Zach on the pink one. And if they start amending that, so we've got to put an extra agenda item in. I can see Mo working away down here on the bottom around customer stories, and he's typing away on there. And Zach was going to be adding a new agenda item before reporting around some mobile access that we want to demo as well. And so you can see, even while we're talking about this, that they're working away. If they wanted to give some feedback, either of them can chip in, tell me to shut up, and Liam, can we do X, Y, and Z? Some suggestions that they might want to have. Feel free, chaps, if there's anything you think we should do differently. You've always got very strong opinions. But we can see Mo here changing the agenda as well. And so we can all work on this. And again, if I wanted to dive in and make a change or an amendment, I can be working as well. So it doesn't stop anybody else working. It doesn't stop anybody doing anything else. We could continue to pop comments in the conversation section as well. I can like the fact that Mo has now joined and logged into the PowerPoint, and quite easily we can amend that so we're all happy. This is all saving in the background, so we haven't got to worry about who's got the up-to-date copy. We have one copy, it's shared in Teams, and we're all working on it together. Guys, thanks very much for joining the call. Hopefully we'll get the presentation done and it'll work well.
No problem. Catch you later.
See you later. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so they've both now left the call. We've made our amendment to the PowerPoint. I can close that down, and I said all the changes we've made have been saved. What's really neat is that while that meeting has been going on, it's recorded it within Teams, and as soon as I stop and stop the recording, sorry, the meeting happening, it will stop it recording and it will save it away for me. So if we want to go back and review that meeting, we can very, very quickly. But it just shows how easy it is to drop in and out of a call, bring colleagues in. We could have added extra people if we'd have needed some expertise on something, but it's very, very easy to do that level of collaboration without needing to be anywhere near each other. We can do it as long as we've got a decent internet connection. I'm on the Wi-Fi here, as the guys probably were. We're absolutely no worries with sharing screens and working together on that PowerPoint presentation. So hopefully that gives you a general idea of how easy that is to do, but it's so easy to add people in. I've got this little button here on my screen that would allow me to add participants to anything that we want, and I'll show you how to do an actual call as well. If I share my screen one more time, go back to Microsoft Teams. And what I also have here is a calling section. So if I wasn't working on a project within a team or a channel, as we were doing there with the PowerPoint, I just want to make a phone call to somebody, I can search for somebody, I can look at my contacts, and again, if I found Zach or Mo or whoever it was I was looking for, very quickly, if I type Zach on here, I can find him, and again you can see here I've got a video or an audio call that bang I click on and we're calling him straight away. So very, very easy to do. That's part and parcel of the chat or the calling section, and I can have different groups, I can have favorites, I can have my team, as we see there, the sales team, and I can phone, or it's like a Skype call really. That's the technology we're using that will allow us to go straight in and see them, speak to these people face to face. We get all that normal visual communication that's so important, even though we're not in the office. So again, if you do have to find yourself remote, not an issue with communicating. So I hope that little bit was of use, and yeah, it's all fairly simple, but it's nice to see it in action. Okay, so I hope that has been of benefit to see a brief overview of what you can do with Microsoft Teams, especially around this current challenge we have around not being in the office, or potentially not being in the office as frequently as we normally are. I think the great thing with what we've shown is this idea that it's all based on a chat-based communication tool, so it's very easy to drop in and out and catch up if you've been away. It's decluttering your inbox, which I think all of us would love to have more of. The other great thing is if you've got Office 365, you'll find Teams within the box on 90% of the versions that are out there. And currently, because of what's going on in the world, Microsoft have offered a 6-month free trial for organizations that don't use Teams, and so you can sign up for that. I think it has to be done through a partner, so someone like ourselves, but you can sign up for it and trial the software if you're not an existing user. So please feel free to have a play with Teams. It's great. We have a more in-depth seminar about Teams in general on the 19th of March, which I'm running, and that's a 90-minute overview. So again, that'll probably give you a bit more information of some of the other features. We'll go into a bit more detail there and dive in a bit more. But for today, it's obviously so topical with what's going on in the world. We thought it'd be useful to get a quick video out, just giving the real basics of what Teams can do and how it might help you to keep the business moving, to keep your customers serviced, and keep doing the great job everyone does when you potentially have team members or colleagues that can't get into the office. And I think one thing I hope will happen, that once we overcome this present challenge, that it will look at changing the culture of how we work, that people will be able to work more remotely for various reasons, that they can be more productive, that they can get the information they need wherever they are. And I said on the mobile device, and I'll fire up a different video just all around how Teams works on mobile devices. You can stay in touch just on your phone and do all the things I've shown you today. You will have exactly the same conversation view. You can still make Teams calls with video on your smartphones. There's clients available for free on Android, on iPhone, and it works superbly well. And a lot of the time I spend on my mobile device, and it's just as good as the full fat client on my desktop. So I hope it's been of use. Feel free to ping us a question if you want. If you're interested in the seminar that's coming up later in March, go to techman.co.uk and find the events section. You can book on there. It's a free webinar that takes place the morning of the 19th for about 90 minutes. Okay, hopefully it's been of use, and thank you very much for taking the time to watch. See you later. Bye.